and welcome to the bonus episode for Marvel Spider-Man 2, where basically I'm just going to go over the costumes and point out what I like about them, what I don't like about them. I'll try to keep my descriptions concise, I guess, but if I start to ramble, well, forgive me, I guess. Because some of these costumes are actually really cool, some less than, so. And let's get started with the one we start off with, Advanced Suit 2.0. It's literally just the second version of the Advanced Suit from the previous game. And, I mean, not much to say. It's basically built off of the original suit design. Red and blue, very classic. I think the white for the gauntlets is better than they were in the previous game. Don't know how I feel about the boots or shoes or whatever down there, but they're fine. Ultimately, it's a very inoffensive suit. The spider logo, like his chest, is a little bigger than what I personally would want to put on some like a costume like this. But it goes back to kind of what I've said. White can be a very bright, vibrant color and can be distracting from all the other ones. This one's got not as bad as some other ones, which we'll talk about when we get to Miles' suits. Overall, good standard suit. I like it. The black suit, not really much to say about this. It's the standard Venom-esque looking suit. The bodies on the spider seems a little elongated in the symbol, and we can't really see it on this, but not too well. But there's that weird sinewy ichor, I guess, that you have going on with it. It doesn't bother me that much, but I know some people might be kind of grossed out by it. And instead of the big rectangles that the classic suit usually has, it has little V's on the top of the wrists. It all looks good. It's the standard Venom suit. Can't really complain about it too much. An upgraded version of the Venom suit, the symbiote suit, where the musculature on the shoulders and the back of the neck is a little more pronounced, but overall it's about the same as the previous one. The legs are a little more jagged to show that it's becoming more evil and corrupting, but overall still very good. If you like Venom as a character or even just as a suit, you'll like this, I'm sure, unless the weird musculature is the turn off for you, then I can understand why people wouldn't like that. The anti-venom suit, pretty much nothing really to go against it. It uses some minor design traits from the advanced suit, like the little black signs on Peter's hips. The underarms are all black to go with the way the advanced suit is. Very good design though, but then again, the whole idea of anti-Venom's design is it's just the inverse of Venom. Since Venom's suit is a simple and yet effective as design, anti-Venom suit would be simple but effective as well. Let's see. Classic suit, can't really hate on it. It's literally the classic suit he's had for decades. I was about to say maybe even a century, but that's not correct. Spider-Man didn't come about till, oh Lord, 70s. I know. I want to say maybe the 50s for like one of the earliest ones. I can't quite remember. I'm not huge into comic books. Like I like certain characters, Spider-Man being one of them, but I'm not a major like knowledge buff for dates and things like that, especially when like characters were created and how long they've been around and things like that. I just have a general ballpark idea. But yeah, it's the classic suit. Everyone loves it. It's very iconic and immediately recognizable. No, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Let's see. The Scarlet 3 suit. So this, assumedly, as the name would suggest, is the third iteration of Scarlet Spider. And I believe I said this earlier in the Let's Play. I actually pretty much like this suit. I do prefer the original Scarlet Spider suit, where it was literally just the red outfit plus a blue hoodie over top, just for simplicity's sake and kind of, I guess, comic book cheesiness. But this is very good too. Red and Balance feels very good. Uh, I don't know how I feel about the spider insignia. Like, I don't know. Just using like diamonds for the spider body and head seems a little not cheesy, gaudy maybe. Like, I don't know. It feels very like it feels like something who really likes gems and gemstones would do that, because that's kind of what they're reminding me of. I'm not really a big person on jewelry, so stuff like that kind of just makes me go roll my eyes and be like, did you really need to do that? You could. So anyway, but it is also just a basic geometric shape, so maybe that's what they were going for more. Uh, the belt stands out a little bit, but that's probably by design to help break apart the design a little bit. The knee pads are, I don't know, they feel a little weird, but not too bad, as it separates the pants part from where the boots probably are. So all in all, still a very good outfit. Let's see. Advanced Suit Mark 1, and pretty much all I have to say about the Part 2 is the same as this one. Uh, I'm not crazy about the little wings on the gauntlets, but that's just a weird little flare that they had. The triangles on the pant legs are fine. They, if it basically it seems like Peter might have had some excess material and didn't know what to do with it, so he just added them to the pants, which he changed in this one, which I think may have became his wings. I don't know. So, but yeah, Advanced Suit's still pretty cool if you want to do something classic, but not quite the same as what we got or the original classic suit. Let's see, Kumo suit. I talked about this one earlier in the Let's Play too when I first got it. Overall, I think it's fine. It doesn't bother me. The only thing that really bothers me is the like rag top on the head. It just seems unnecessary. Like, I know it's supposed to be kind of like a top knot, I guess, but it just seems unnecessary, and the top knot itself seems a little unnecessary too. But everything else, like the blue torso, looks cool. I'm digging the pants with the rope cord, keeping them tight. Uh, the kimono around the waist looks fine. Digging the like Yakuza style tattoos that are on there. All in all, I like it for the most part. Just wish I could take off that stupid rag and keep him as like a more traditional Spider-Man looking mask. Uh, the hybrid suit. This is the suit that has parts of the Iron Spider and parts of uh, Tom Holland's regular Spider suit from No Way Home. Not a bad suit. Uh, really, my only thing I don't like about it is the gold, but that's part of the nanotech that's attached to the suit, and that's just. And the only reason why I don't like that is just because, like I said, I'm not really a big jewelry person, so seeing stuff like gold and silver and things like that on there just kind of, I don't know. It just makes me think of like unnecessarily flashy jewelry and things like that. So, but again, it's a pretty decent design. I kind of wish the blue was maybe a little more uh, bright and vibrant, but this would probably be like the MCU tried going for more realistic costumes, for lack of a better phrase, and a darker blue does work better. So, probably more easily accessible too. The Amazing Suit. This is Andrew Garfield's suit from the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. Talked about this a little bit in the Marvel Spider-Man 1 playthrough. I don't like that this one kind of is missing a belt, or at the very least that it cuts off like halfway around his waist. Just seems weird to me. The lines going down the legs are fine though. The spider emblem on it, legs are a little. It's very thin and wiry, which is maybe what they were going for, because Andrew Garfield's or was thin and wiry. Not that he's out of shape, but I want to say he was much more wiry when he was playing Spider-Man versus his roles now, where he's a little more muscular. But I haven't paid super close attention to anything like that, so I don't know. I might just be talking out of my ass. Uh, Separation of the gloves from the arms is fine. It's basically kind of what's going on with the advanced suits and stuff to a more extreme degree, but still pretty good. The Amazing Suit 2, this is literally just the classic outfit, just with the Amazing Spider-Man logos on it instead of the traditional ones, so nothing really bad to say about that. Again, the spider's a little thin and wiry, which may have been on purpose to help, like, get the point that this Spider-Man is supposed to be thin and wiry and jumps around a lot, but again, overall, it's a good design that hasn't really been tampered with too much. Miguel O'Hara's suit, aka Spider-Man 2099, and it says black suit up there, even though this is clearly blue, but let's see. Probably thinking more like this, if I had to guess. 2099's design is very good. I've heard critiques about the skull-like design on the spider, which, yeah, it's a little weird, but Miguel O'Hara is supposed to be a more violent and, frankly, deadly version of Spider-Man. Little spikes on the arm do make me think a little bit about Batman, and the markings on the mask are like they're supposed to also give the feeling of a spider, like the fangs where Spider-Man's mouth are supposed to be like actual spider fangs, and then the legs on the sides of the mask, but it also feels sort of Spawn-ish, which the 2099 comics were around at about the same time as Spawn started up, I believe, so probably drew slight influence from that. Overall, it's still a good design. Feels very Nightwing-esque in some cases, where we got the big long stripes going down the arms, sort of like Miles' suit. Very edgelordy, but that is intended, as was just popularity of the time. So if you don't like edgelordy stuff, then oh well. If you like it just fine, then cool. You might enjoy running around in this. Traditional Scarlet Spider suit. I already talked about how I like the simplicity of it. It's just red leotard with the blue hoodie, and the spider insignia is drawn on with a friggin' Sharpie of all things. Silly but simple. I personally kind of like how the web cartridges are like exposed on the suit. I don't know why. I think it's just a neat little flourish of the design. He's even got them on the anklets and stuff. So I would imagine it's supposed to help for like quicker access. That way he's not having to like pull up his shirt or anything like that for spare cartridges, as was the case in the 90s when that was a problem. So, and I want to say Ben Riley, the Scarlet Spider, he usually used like impact webbing to like just immediately net dudes up. That might be more like a gameplay type thing though, that they added in various video games that Ben Riley was in. rather than actual comic book lore, but again, I'm not entirely sure on that front. So good design, can't complain about anything too much. Uh, I guess maybe the cheesy '90s pouches, but again, that's meant more for carrying around more web fluid than what he might actually need just in case. But we'll see. Uh, the superior suit. Like I said earlier in this Let's Play, this is from when Doc Ock took over Peter's mind or swapped bodies with him somehow. I know it's a story beat in the comic books, but I haven't read a Spider-Man comic for a while, like way before that happened. When was the last time I read a Spider-Man comic book? I think it may have been like early on in the Ultimate Spider-Man series when I stopped reading, just because like the town I live in doesn't have a dedicated comic book shop, and having to go out of town for it was kind of a big ask for my mom, just to constantly have her run somewhere else at the time anyway. So anyway, uh, the superior suit, it does look very cool. I like how the eyes are like thinner and more slanted, trying to make him look more sinister. Uh, Overall, it's a very good design. It's very similar to Miles's, where like the webbing is like forming a V down to like the middle of the chest and ends like at the arms and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. Uh, Spider Insignia is fine. It's another one that's gotten really big on the chest, and there isn't really a insignia on the back as much as there is this little pack that has well, in the comics it's supposed to be Doctor Octopus's arms. I guess they became spider legs though, similar to how Peter used them in this game. So I don't know what the deal is with the gauntlets with the red sensor on them. That might be for helping to control the arms. Might just be new web shooters that he thought were better designed than Peter's. I honestly have no idea. Again, I haven't read any of the comics, so I don't know much about the Superior Spider-Man other than some people liked it. Some people thought it was a really dumb idea. I wouldn't know. I'd have to actually read to find out. The anti-ox suit is the final suit from the previous game, and it looks fine. I'm not crazy about how the glowing insignia just kind of hurts my eyes to look at it. Otherwise, though, it's a perfectly fine mechanical suit. It's supposed to help counter Doc Ock's tentacles and stuff. Not that that was really the case gameplay wise. All it did was add the resupply ability, which it's supposed to help you web up Doc Ock more frequently, which I never had a problem with the actual web shooters in that game or this game. They always reloaded pretty fast to me anyway. So maybe that's just something I wasn't particularly privy to or anything like that. I don't know. But overall, it's a very simple design, similar to the Venom suits. It's probably meant to intentionally uh, call upon that imagery. Now that I think about it, since they probably knew they would tackle Venom next, and from the previous game they'd do Venom in this one, and then for the next one we seem to be dealing with Doc Ock again, and of course Cletus Cassidy got away with the Carnage symbiote, so we'll be dealing with that. So that'll be fun. Alright, let's see. The Arachnite suits. Talked about this one a little bit too, and pretty much saying the same thing here. It's obviously very Moon Knight-esque in its design. For the most part, I like it. Notice that it's got armor going down the sides of his suit, but everywhere else it's just like a regular suit. You'd think he'd have like maybe some armor on his legs or something too. The big spider insignia, eh, like it's fine because I know that's what it is. But I'm sure if someone looking at this like for the first time would be like, "What the hell is this? Who's this character?" If they didn't know it was Spider-Man, they might be a little weirded out by the design. I don't know. Uh, Giant pouches on the utility belt are kind of silly. Makes me think of one of the lines from Batman. What was it? Arkham City, where makes a joke about Bruce carrying a bigger belt. Batman says he did, and that it weighed him down too much. So, kind of just makes me think of that. But overall, this is a pretty neat little design. I like it. Uh, I wonder if it's something that happened in the comics, or if it's just a fun little thing the developers thought to do for this one. There are a couple of suits like that for Miles that we'll talk about in a minute, but overall, pretty decent design. No real complaints. Again, like a lot of Peter's suits, I don't really hate. Uh, I just think they might be a little uncreative considering how many of the suits from the movies that there are. Like we got the Into the Spider-Verse noir suit, which I kind of miss the original noir suit more, but this is still pretty neat. Nothing wrong with rocking a trench coat every now and then, especially if you're trying to be a grim, gritty noir detective. So it's all shaded and got the little speckle effect that Noir Spider-Man had. But of course, again, this is specifically meant to mimic and imitate the way he looked in the movie. So, Peter's homemade suit from Tom Holland's movies. It's not bad. I don't know how I feel about the goggles being inside the mask or if they should have been outside of it. Eh, but either way, it's very simple, and again, the spider symbol on the front is probably drawn on with something like a Sharpie, if I had to guess, as well. For something that's literally, like it said, a homemade suit for by some average random kid, it looks good. And of course, it follows the classic Spider-Man design overall, so no problem there. Good old Hobie Brown or Hobie Brown. I haven't watched Across the Spider-Verse yet, so I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. But yeah, we got Spider-Punk. Uh, like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man insignia on the back. Dig the vest in general. I like how he decorates it with various little buttons and stuff. I don't know how I feel about the spiky mohawk, but that is meant to help give it more of a punk rock look, along with the studded belt and wristbands. Uh, got Converse on with little spider insignias on the ankle. From personal experience, walking around Converse was kind of a pain for me anyway, but uh, trying to like the chest design, it does seem to try to like imitate a spider, like the two spikes in the middle of the chest are its fangs, and then the lower spikes that are coming down from like around his waist are supposed to be like the thorax, I think is what they are, the little like hands that are near the mouth to help spiders eat and stuff. So that's kind of neat. Different take on how to do the spider insignia. I do kind of wonder if they thought about just putting that on the front though. That might have been funny, more funny than anything. Spider-Punk's a pretty good design all around too, so nothing bad to say about that. Secret Wars Civil War suit. I don't know. Too many straps for one thing, but that's probably the point. It's supposed to make Peter looked like a paramilitary version of himself. I'm also not crazy about the sleeves being cut short. That seems kind of impractical, I guess, but overall, it's not terrible. I've seen worse outfits, honestly. Uh, I don't know why the little backpack's not just attached to the suit. Why it has like a harness and stuff on it, or why his goggles have a strap on them, since they should be attached to his suit. Uh, like military fatigues for pants. Yeah, they're a little weird, but overall, I think they're fine. Like this green one with camo wouldn't be bad if Peter actually had to try and like disguise and fight in a jungle setting. Same with the snow camo if he was like on a icy mountaintop, but he'd have other problems in what with skin being exposed on his arms and probably just not having good insulation in the suit. I have no idea what they were thinking about with the pink and light blue pastel colors. That just screams, come find me, I'm here." But overall, this is a okay design. Like I said, the military fatigues are weird, but they're meant to give a very specific feel to his character. Uh, it's something I think would be good for like a one-off story of Peter having to be in like the jungle or something, not like a everyday Spider-Man story though. Iron Spider armor. I really don't like this suit. Let's see. I don't like the red or gold. It just seems overly gaudy. Uh, White, black, and gold. The blue and gold looks better just because blue's a cooler color and yellow's a warm color, or gold in this case is a warm color. So they kind of balance each other out. The black and gold does a better job of that, but I don't know. Like Peter could invent something like this, but it's very this. It obviously screams Tony Stark, and that's by design. I know, but I don't know. It just it's too shiny. It's too bright and vibrant. It's kind of hard to look at and hurts my eyes more than anything. Other than that, I guess it's fine. I don't know how I feel about just the. I assume this is where like a pair of leg or a set of legs are supposed to sprout from the back. This little circle in the back, and the spider insignia is I don't know. It's another big beefy one. It's very angular and jagged with various simple geometric shapes doing it. I kind of like the spider symbols to be a little more rounded, I guess. But yeah, I don't like this one. If you do, cool, more power to you. I guess I just don't. I like Spider-Man being different from Iron Man since they're clearly two very different characters. Let's see. Web black suit. This is the black suit from the third Sam Raimi movie. It looks fine. It's again, it does what it's supposed to. It's supposed to indicate that the symbiote's taken over Peter's personality. Uh, mm, like it's all black. I feel like the spider insignia and the webbing's a little not distinctive enough. Like it's just sort of it's a lighter shade of gray more than anything. Like maybe if it was solid white, it would stick out better. But maybe they didn't want to go for that. Maybe they were trying to be more realistic. I guess I don't know. Overall, it's fine, but I like other Venom costumes way more. So websuit, and this is just the regular version of Tobey Maguire's spider suit. Again, it looks good. Uh, the metallic webbing always seemed kind of weird, but not so weird that it's like distracting or bad. Makes me wonder if it's like uncomfortable to wear though, with that on there or not. But yeah, I'd assume it'd be fine for what you're needing to do with it. Let's see. Upgraded classic suit, another one of Tom Holland's suits. I think this is the one uh, from Civil War and No Way Home. I might be misremembering, or not No Way Home, Homecoming. Sorry, but I might be misremembering. A lot of the movie suits all kind of run together, and that's, I guess, kind of my one complaint about Peter's suits. Like I said, he has, like, a lot of his suits are just ones from the various movies, which isn't a bad thing. It's just kind of lazy with their suit loadout. Like, they could have done different things. But speaking of different things, new blue suit. Uh, it's very Fantastic Four-esque. In fact, I think, yeah, this is supposed to be like the same material that the Fantastic Four costumes look like in the movies. Uh, this is just the classic color palette over it if you like the overall design of the suit, but not the blue and black color palette. It's not bad. I do kind of miss the red though. Like maybe if they just inverted the colors, but I can only assume this is like was made for Peter when he temporarily signed up with the Fantastic Four, or maybe like he was a part of the Avengers and and like Susan Storm or Johnny Storm was a part of the Avengers too. They got this made for him. I don't know. Not bad, but I don't know. Not really what I would consider putting on Spider-Man. Again, it's probably good for like a one-shot story, but for like everyday looks, nah. This is like too much of a departure, in my opinion. And then we got upgraded suit, which I think this is the Far From Home suit that Peter makes at the end of the movie. Again, like it's so similar. Uh, it's so similar to this. Like the only difference is there's black instead of blue. And sorry if you heard my phone ring. Stupid telemarketer was trying to call me. But speaking of more Tom Holland movie suits and Far From Home specifically, we get the stealth suit, aka Spider Monkey, as he was called in that movie. And I don't hate it. It's very tactical. It's very like, oh, some government person hired Spider-Man to be stealthy and act like a spy, so they gave him this all-black suit to walk around and do things. The only problem, and I said this when we talked about it in the first game, there are like the gloves are fingerless gloves, which are meant to make it easier for Peter to pick stuff up. But that means he'd be leaving his fingerprints all over places, meaning people could potentially make it easier to find him and who he may have been working for in that movie, which is very silly and stupid and unintuitive, like antithetical to being a stealthy spy-like person. But anyway, yeah, it's a decent enough suit. Uh, that's my only one complaint are the silly gloves. I'm trying to remember if the suit actually was like that, or if this is just something that they might have goofed up on in the design. But I honestly can't remember. It wouldn't surprise me if uh, he actually didn't have uh, the fingered gloves, but it's such a minor detail that unless you're actively looking at it, like I am, you probably wouldn't notice. And here we got the classic black suit from the comics and the cartoons and all that other stuff. Let's see, you got the classic black, a slightly more purple variant, which looks pretty good, honestly, to me anyway, but I like purple as a color. Anti-venom colors, and my favorite styling for this, the two-tone blue on one side, red on the other, because that's how they colored and shaded it in the 90s cartoon. If I decide to run around as Venom, this is probably going to be the suit I do it in, just because it hits me right in my childhood. But it also still looks good. It's the classic black Venom suit design, so you can't really hate it if you say you like all the other ones, but don't like that one for whatever reason. Sounds very hypocritical. Next is the Iron Spider suit, which specifically was in uh, Infinity War and a little bit in Endgame. Basically, it's the same as the hybrid suit. I can't complain about it too much, other than it being overly shiny. But again, it's supposed to be iron armor made by Tony Stark, given to Peter. So of course it's bright and shiny and metal. Uh, I don't know how I feel about the weird gold bits on the wrists. I mean, I know they're supposed to be web shooters probably, but they seem unnecessarily bulky, I guess. I don't know. They just kind of seem a little off to me. Excuse me. But again, overall, it's a decent enough uh, design. Let's see. New red and blue. This is the suit Tom Holland makes at the end of No Way Home, like the very last scene where he's, I guess, where he's supposed to be as Spider-Man. Like he gets the uh, great power, great responsibility speech, or he hears about it from Aunt May. He chooses not to tell his version of MJ and Ned that he's Spider-Man after everyone's brain gets wiped and no one can remember who Spider-Man is anymore. So he makes this one out of some sort of material. I want to say I've seen stuff made like the blue specifically. I want to say I've seen like that kind of fabric before, but I have no idea what you would call it or what even it's really supposed to be made out of. Uh, Overall, this is a good suit. You know, it again, it's the classic design. You can't really hate on it too much. Uh, the spider insignia is again, the legs are really long. The head and body are kind of stubby. Maybe that's supposed to like reflect Tom Holland's like actual height compared to the other two Spider-Man actors, but I honestly have no idea. It's just a slight variation of the classic design, is all. So no real no real complaints about it too much. Let's see, black and gold. This is it's some weird circuitry based suit. No idea what exactly they're going for, other than maybe it's like a iron. Maybe it's like the Iron Spider suit, but just barely put together. I honestly don't know. It looks fine overall, but kind of weird in my opinion. I'm not crazy about the whole exposed wire look or anything like that. Just seems kind of odd, I guess. Let's see. And then we have the life story suit that Peter has. I have no idea what life story is. I remember saying the same thing because Miles has a suit, a variation of that suit as well. It it kind of reminds me of the suits the Avengers used to go back in time in the Endgame, but not quite exactly the same. Like obviously this has Spider-Man's like red and blue and web patterns and things like that on it, but I don't know. This is fine if you like it, cool. I'm not really a big fan of the single of like a jumpsuit type suit for Spider-Man. It just seems, I don't know, weird, like a weird design. And then the helmet over the mask thing, again, it like it reminds me of the suits the Avengers wore in Endgame, but other than that, I couldn't tell you if like this must be a comic book thing specifically that I have no idea about because holy shit, it just looks so weird. Last hunt suit. You get this uh, in a variation for Miles as well after completing all of the hunter bases. Like they're funny. I like them for the fact that uh, Peter and Peter and Miles beat up so many of Craven's goons that they're like, oh, let's dress as Craven to rub it in his face. But other than that, this is a very silly design. Like maybe in a parallel universe where Craven became Spider-Man, I could see this, but no. For Peter, it just looks lame. Such a silly idea, but that's the whole point. Saving Life suit. This is very clearly based off of Yuri's Wraith suit in this game, and I kind of like it actually. The purple, black, and gold all look nice. I do kind of wish it was like maybe silver, I guess. Let's see. We got white, gray, and gold, red, like various shades of red and gold, and then this green one makes it look kind of like more like Scorpion, but he's not gonna be bumming around anymore. Sorry, I seem to have the hiccups. But yeah, I kind of dig the suit. I'd probably bum around in it for a little bit if I really wanted to. Uh, Arantia. I talked about this a little bit before. This is one of the 5 bonus suits you get for buying the uh, bonus edition. I don't hate it. Again, I kind of wish they had a different color other than gold. Red and black or red and gray looks fine to me. It doesn't bother me in the least. It does make me wonder what this is supposed to be based off of. Like maybe this is supposed to be like a luchador based thing. I don't know because I remember uh, during the mission where you go around collecting like the little spider bots, you pick one up that's based off of a luchador themed Spider-Man, not this one, obviously. And he says he used to watch luchadors all the time on Saturday mornings, so maybe that's what this is based off of. I have no idea, but it looks cool overall. Maybe it's a comic-based thing. I have no idea. Apocalypse. This is fine. When I first talked about it at the beginning of Let's Play, I said something about it being a variation of Spider-Punk. That is not entirely true now that I'm looking at it more closely. This is very clearly supposed to be a Cyberpunk 2077 type thing, or Cyberpunk in general. Let's see, we got unnecessary belt straps on the chest. The augmented robotic arm seems kind of cool. Same with the robotic leg. He's wearing the suit, his regular spider suit underneath normal pants because you can see the hole in the leg right there. Boots look kind of nice. I like the web cartridges on the outside. Very reminiscent of original Scarlet Spider outfit. I wonder if those little dots on his brow are like cybernetic eyes to work in tandem with his regular ones in the goggles, but I don't know. Uh, I dig the skull spider design myself. Like, that's one of the things I like about Miguel O'Hara's suit. So seeing something like that on here doesn't really bother me. The only thing that I don't think works is the mohawk. Like I said, in that originally, I don't think Peter can really pull off a mohawk look. Maybe that's just me, but it just looks kind of silly on him. Tactical suits. And like I said, when I talked about this originally, I think this is basically just the armored version of the advanced suit from uh, the first game. It's fine. I don't like how bright it is with the red and the whites. It's, again, kind of hurts my eyes to look at it. Uh, the mask slash helmet's a little weird. It's got something on the brow there, like maybe like a headlamp or something. Can't really tell. Uh, Signal on the back looks fine. Signal on the front seems a little too zigzaggy in certain parts. I don't know. Mm. Overall, eh. This could maybe work for a solo story, but for like an ongoing thing, no. I would rather stick with just the normal classic outfits. Stone monkey suit. Again, I have no real idea what this is supposed to be, other than maybe a reference to Sun Wukong and Journey to the West. I like parts of the suit, but I don't like other parts. Like, the red and the blue works, obviously. I think Spider-Man's red and blues being inverted could work. But I don't know. I'm not crazy about the puffy collar. I'm not crazy about the little shoulder pads. Uh, the front of the legs being kind of armored work. The gold shoes and the fuzzy top of the boots, again, kind of don't really do it for me. Mm, the gauntlets are kind of fine until we get to like the little fire design on the fists, and then there's that little fire design on where the belt is. This just feels kind of messy. Again, if they're basing this off of like depictions of Sun Wukong, I think they may have nailed it, but I haven't seen too many original depictions of the character, so I wouldn't know. But overall, that kind of goes to show that some things work as inspiration, others don't. Like, And then, last but not least, we have the 25th Century suit. And again, like I said, this one's very gray and red. I'm not really crazy about it either. Like, I don't mind like adding actual armor to Spider-Man, but this, I don't know, it's very boxy, and it feels like they're trying to draw inspiration from something, but I don't know what exactly. If this is a look he had in the comics, it's probably not one of his better designs, at least not to me. This is again another one that might work for a one-shot story, but even then, I don't think this is. I don't think this is the look, man. Like, the boots are stiff and boxy. Whatever he's got going on with his pants are kind of weird. The chest armor and shoulder pads built off of it, I don't know. It feels like maybe this is like a Spider-Man robot or something, and they just haven't finished like giving it the overall design. I don't know. But yeah, how long have I been going on? Good God, I've been going on for nearly 50 minutes just talking about Spider-Man suits, or Peter suits specifically. Ugh. Miles' upgraded suit. It's basically the same as his classic suit, except he's got these big arm stripes going down instead of just the points on it from the original design. His hands have knuckles and stuff, and a big square spot as an extension of the arm stripe. Other than that, not really anything different about it from his classic suit. And the only thing I can really say is it looks good. Excuse me. Miles' design is definitely different than the classic Spider-Man design. It's very two-tone with just red and black. Simple color combination, but I like it. And then I also like the design that like is only the upper body, like it's a smaller amount of the webbing, like it's only from the little V section up to his head. I think it works for him. It's a nice little difference. The spider symbol, the one on the back's again a little bigger than what I tend to care for, but the one on the back was always bigger than the one on the front. The one on the front looks pretty cool though. I also like the little V symbol that it has on the spider, kind of reflecting both his venom powers, but also it's symmetrical with the V symbol on his own chest, so makes for nice little symmetrical designs and things like that. And but that, I guess we're going to get right to it. This is the costume that everyone has been lambasting on the internet for pretty much the entirety of its existence. And yeah, it's not great, particularly with the obvious Adidas that he's wearing. Like, holy crap, once you notice the logo down there, it's hard to get over it. Overall, this costume's fine. It's not his best costume, not by far, but it's not like the most god awful thing I've ever seen. So let's go over with the things I think work for it and things I don't. I like how his hair's out, kind of gives him his own little sense of style and flourish. It seems like something Miles would do, since a lot of his costumes also have him incorporating just his normal everyday clothes. I do kind of miss the webbing on the mask, though. It seems a little plain without it. The shirt part, it's not bad. I like the blue webbing and stuff. The spider symbol's a little big for my design, but it's the same on the front and the back. The blue, like, electricity lines, they're also a little bigger than what I personally would have wanted, but incorporating Miles' lightning abilities are fine. Like, having that show off in the costume or overall is a decent idea. It's just I think they didn't execute it properly in this. The pants, they're basically just track pants with a big blue line instead of a big white line going down them, but it's also meant to show off Miles' electricity powers. I think if they had taken that off, it may have been better, or maybe removed one of these, like the middle electricity lines. Honestly, I think just taking them off the pants would have been fun. Would have been better. It would have been maybe a little plain, but overall, I think it would have looked way better than all the blue that's currently on it. And then, of course, the Adidas shoes. Like, Miles wears regular sneakers with a lot of his costumes, but this is clearly a paid promotion thing that Adidas insisted on, and I believe I've heard that Adidas stores around the country are actually selling like the costume in stores or something like that. Or at the very least, they have it on display to show that yes, this was in fact designed by them. I feel like if it had more like I guess regular boots that incorporated the web des- spider web design, it would have looked better overall. But they decided not to do that. All in all, I will give this suit a 4, maybe 5 out of 10 if I was to give it an actual rating. It's fine. It's not his best outfit, but it's, in my opinion, not his worst either. It's just kind of meh all around. Alright. The family business suit. It's very high tech, sort of similar to Peter's spider armor. I remember saying that earlier in the episode, or the Let's Play, rather. And his color variations on this, we got a green, purple for uh, the Prowler, his uncle, black and red with the gold on it to be sort of a reflection of his powers, but also still kind of incorporating the spider armor look. This suit's fine. It's got the gold thing, which I'm not crazy about, but that again is just me. I'm not crazy about gold in general. Alright, Miles' classic suit. And basically everything I said about the upgraded suit applies to this one. It's a good design. I like the little differences uh, between like how his suit was designed compared to regular Spider-Man's. Like with the webbing going up, just starting being constrained to the little V area up to his head. So the spider insignias all look the same. The only difference is mostly the big arm stripe going all the way down. Here it's just on his fingers, and that looks fine. I'm sure there's some minor differences on the shoes slash boots as well, but that's honestly small potatoes, I think. Like, yeah, there's like more red on the updated suit, but you still have a little bit there for classic design. So yeah, it's a good outfit. The tracksuit. I've talked about this in the Miles Morales game, and like I said there, I don't like all the white on it. Like it just kind of draws the eye away from all the red and black details on the suit. Uh, I'm not crazy about this one too, for more or less the same reason. The blue kind of overpowers the red. This is basically just a variation of Miles's suit already, and this one's a reference to Miguel O'Hara with the blue and slightly off red. So as like a actual design, I think it works. Again, the webbing gets constrained even more to just like his neck and a smaller part of the chest. The spider's big and angular and takes up most of the uh, design. I'm usually not a fan of that, but I think it works for this one. Otherwise, it'd just be a complete copy of the classic suit as it, which is already kind of is like it's an evolution of it, just for this coloration anyway. Not a particularly good one. Brooklyn 2099. Uh, Not bad, but again, I'm not crazy about it. The pants look fine. The shoes, I don't know. I think the shoes could have been better. They look a little too soft or padded, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like more like he's just wearing socks, not actual shoes or boots, aside from the bottom of them, which is very weird when you have all the shiny, sleek armor of the top half. So I have no idea if this is just a concept the designers came up from themselves, or if it's something they pulled from the comics. Uh, let's see. And we have black and blue, light purple and green again, evoking the Prowler, and then white and red, or off-white and red rather. I feel like this is a better color choice right here, but uh, overall the armor look, it kind of works. I don't know how I feel about all the glowy bits as well as the spider insignia. It just looks kind of wonky to me. The one on the back seems kind of fine, like it's trying to do that skull insignia thing that Miguel Harris is trying to do, but not as good in my opinion. And then there's all the little dots and stuff around the regular I guess eye slit, eye holes, goggles, whatever. Uh, I'm sure that's more just a design flourish to make it look like he has 8 eyes the way regular real life spiders do, or supposed to anyway. Uh, but I don't know. This is again a halfway decent suit. Just some things could have been better implemented, I think. Others are perfectly fine. So. Excuse me. Right. His sportswear outfit. This is basically what he started off wearing in the Miles Morales game. It's literally just, or well, these variations anyway are his regular clothes laid over top his Spider-Man outfit, and it looks good. Adds what is probably much needed insulation during cold wintry months. The original design is him wearing it over a variation of Peter's suit, which is what was given to him at the beginning of the game, but when he got his own suit, it probably changed up to be more like the other three designs. So overall, I like it, but I like more casually designed suits that are meant more for comfort than efficiency, I guess. Even though I know being a superhero requires you to be more efficient than anything, so. But if you wanted to just sort of relax and take things easy, or were in a rush and had to just pull a mask on over your head and run around with your regular clothes on, this would work too, I think. So, the life story suit. I talked about this when I unlocked it earlier in the Let's Play, and like I said there, this is like weirdly simplistic for Miles, I feel. I don't know. Again, the helmet's kind of like that uh, helmet that the Avengers wore when they went back in time in Endgame. Uh, the webbing collar feels very old-fashioned. I've like maybe this is like old man Miles or something like that, and he's wearing it like that intentionally. But I have no idea. The whole suit just sort of feels like, I don't know how to put it. It just feels kind of off and weird and very, very simple compared to what Miles would usually have on. Like there's very little webbing. The spider insignia is turned into what looks like a bow tie, or at least where one would go. It's got the padded shoulders like a old cardigan jacket and things like that. Web shooters are giant braces, it looks like, and that's fine. That doesn't bother me. I kind of always liked the original web shooter design where they're big bracelets. It does make it harder to, pretend like, oh, I'm not wearing anything underneath, though, I guess. I do kind of wonder what the deal with the belt is. It seems like it's part of the torso, like connected to it, made out of the same material. But then why distinguish it with a belt, I guess? I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. and then the lower half is all just his classic suits, like pants and shoes, basically. So, yeah. I wouldn't say this is Miles' worst outfit, but it's definitely not one I would want to see him running around in. I have no idea what the life story thing is, because again, Peter has a suit with the same name, so I guess it's just something from a comic storyline that kind of just doesn't gel with me or something. Anyway, Miles Morales 2099 suit. I said this in the Miles Morales game. This is basically just a send up to Miguel O'Hara. I have no idea if this is actually a suit Miles wears at any point, or if it's literally just a reference to the 2099 costumes, but it's basically pulling that off. I think it looks really good. I like the addition of the hood. The additional white makes it stand out a little bit more than Miguel's just solid dark blue and crimson red. Little bits of white help make it pop a little bit better. The foggy glowing eyes is kind of weird. It makes me wonder if that's a comic thing that Miles gets, if this is something that happens in the comics. But overall, I have no idea. If I really wanted to know, I'll research it. And yeah, he's got the little arm spikes that make him look more like Batman than anything. Let's see. Advanced Tech Suit. This is another one that showed up in the Miles Morales game. I suppose that's a critique I have. Like, if a lot of Peter's suits are just from the movies, a lot of Miles's in this game are from the previous game, which makes sense to a degree, but you'd think they would want to try designing something new, like completely new, that they didn't just pull over from the previous game. But then again, character design's hard, and maybe not everyone liked or saw those costumes. I don't know if the Miles Morales game sold as well as the previous, like, Marvel Spider-Man game did. And basically, what I said in that Let's Play about the suit is basically the same thing that I have to say about it here. For the most part, it's just a more mechanical-looking version of his classic suit. The insignia is different, and I'm not crazy about it. It evokes way too similar of like a Batman insignia for me, which I like Batman, but I don't want Batman being mixed with other heroes or anything like that. It's just kind of unnecessary. And if not done well, it also kind of sucks. A la the Amalgam Universe version of Batman that kind of makes Wolverine and God forbid Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin. That thing fucking sucked. So, but yeah, overall the suit's fine. It's not overly offensive. Just not really what I would care to see. Shadow Spider suit. Talked about this a little earlier in the Let's Play as well. So, very Moon Knight-esque, but also does make me think more of Batman and Robin with how it's like realistically padded and things like that. He's got little. Those are either those are throwing knives, so that's also very Batman-esque, because I don't see Spider-Man of any kind using throwing knives really. Like the cape and the hood, like the little webbing design on the inside of the cape. Overall, this is a fun little suit. I think it'd be fun to run around in. I might end up doing that on my own, honestly, if I decide to do a New Game Plus of this, but I probably won't. There doesn't seem to be any actual need for New Game Plus other than your own challenger difficulties. So yeah, good design. The mask, like the actual mask inside the hood, is trying to do the Miguel O'Hara thing where it has like features around the goggles and the mouth to invoke more spider designs. They keep Miles' little V uh, chest design in there and kind of double up on it by putting another layer underneath it. Greaves and boots are more realistically designed greaves and boots, padding all over it to help uh, keep him protected. Yeah, overall a pretty good superhero costume. Miles Morales 2020, and this is another one I talked about in the Miles Morales playthrough. It's not bad, but I don't know, the Daft Punk helmet, like I like Daft Punk, but something about this just doesn't seem to work for me with Miles, I guess. Same with the chest piece being that same material. And then he's got a retro Walkman. It seems like, I guess my problem is the LED displays on those seem like would probably be shattered on a daily basis, considering how much Miles and Peter get into fights with criminals and things like that. So it's just kind of a waste of money to have something that fancy on a suit. The jacket looks nice. I like the spider insignia on the back. It looks cool, little uh, angular, but that's by intent. Uh, it feels weird that he doesn't. Well, he's really just wearing a jacket over the base suit, though. I guess. Uh, Sneakers look fine. They're not overly egregious. I can't tell if that's an actual shoe company design or just a little flourish they threw on there to give it some extra color. But overall, pretty decent. Uh, let's see. Purple rain suit. It's what you get at the end of the Miles Morales game for doing all the Prowler missions, and it unlocks when you do them all in this game too. I've talked about this suit before, and overall I don't hate it. And my only real gripe is I think the green, that the bright acid green should have been a like darker shade of green, or maybe even a blue. I don't know. Like eh, you see the tiny bits of green on the side. If the acid green was more that color, I think it would have been fine. Since the Prowler's supposed to be like a stealthy character, and this bright acid green kind of just gives him away, in my opinion, anyway. I think the silver, black, and white, the silver, black, and red, I mean, suit here is probably the best variation of it, but that's because it utilizes Miles' already existing color palette rather than the Prowler's color palette, which defeats the purpose of the suit's existence to begin with. Spire insignia is big and angular, which I bounce back and forth depending on the exact design of the insignia. It kind of works here. Again, it's trying to invoke the Prowler's symbol. Yeah, everything else about it, like all the advanced gauntlets and greaves, the boots work fine. I don't mind the various shades of gray and purple and stuff. The only thing that really kind of makes me go is the acid green. I just don't like that color. I think it's kind of bright and ugly. Yeah. Oh well. Bodega Cat suit. This is what we get from doing all the friendly neighborhood requests at the end of the Miles Morales game, where we get a little backpack with Thanos Cat Spider-Man hanging out in it. This is basically just Miles' normal outfit with a red hoodie over it and a white undershirt, it seems. And he's wearing some red sneakers. And overall, yeah, this is a cute, fun little suit. Again, very casual. I think it'd be decent to wear if you're like especially cold or something on a wintry day. Wouldn't hurt to just throw a hoodie on over your suit. Keep the Inspire insignias on there for branding purposes, of course. All in all, very nice. Alright. Now we get the first suit that's really a departure from all the previous suits that are in the Miles Morales game. The Forever suit, as in the Wakanda Forever suit, if that wasn't obvious. We got Miles' spider insignia on the back and on the front. Looks good. They keep the shoulder pads and the webbing consistent, but his gauntlets, boots, and helmet have Black Panther features. I can only assume this is meant to be a send up to Chadwick Boseman for his untimely death. Overall, it's a very good suit. It looks similar to the Black Panther suit, which it's supposed to. And with Miles being part African American, I remember the Wakanda Embassy being a place you took pictures of in the first Spider-Man game, so I'd imagine maybe Miles went to that for like a field trip or something for one of his classes to learn, probably a history class. And I think if Miles was to go to Wakanda, that he'd probably be psyched to see all the cool technology, and I think the suit fits him well enough. It's one of those things where it feels weird seeing Spider-Man wearing a costume of a different character. And like I said, I usually don't like my characters, like separate characters being mixed together, but I don't know, this, as a neat little reference, this works. And there'll be more blatant costumes in a bit that we'll see that kind of just go off the walls with whether or not Miles would actually wear something like this or not. So for this suit specifically, I could see Miles doing that if, like, in universe, T'Challa was killed and didn't come back or anything like that. So he'd make like a slight variation of the suit as a sign of respect or something. So the homemade suit. This is another one I talked about in the Miles Morales game. Overall, it's fine. It's clearly just whatever clothes he had lying around at home. As is the case with Peter's homemade suit from the MCU movies. Black track pants, hoodie or a sweater that's zipped up, mask with like ski goggles, gloves. It all looks nice. The one thing that kind of just like pops out from all of them are the Chuck Taylors down on the bottom, because, well, they're bright yellow and they completely contrast with everything. But with Miles being a New Yorker, Chuck Taylors, from what I understand, are the quote-unquote stereotypical shoe of New Yorkers. I have no idea. I don't live in New York, so I don't know if this is just a dumb meme that people have propagated or if it's based off of actual facts, which it probably isn't. But overall, these suits are fine. We got classic color design. We got the one Miles had, Miles' classic color design. And then this one, which is electric blue, which I actually think this looks pretty decent. Again, the Chuck Taylors just pop out from all of them, making them look kind of weird, but otherwise, I think it's a pretty decent little suit if you want to run around as a low-tech Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse. This is one of there's like a handful of these suits that Miles has two that are just his suits straight from the movies. And since Miles has only been in the Spider-Verse movies, that's what all of his movie suits are pulled from. So we got Into the Spider-Verse. Looks fine. It's his traditional design, and since in those movies he just took one of Peter's older suits and spray painted over it. We get all the we get like little designs showing that he did just spray paint over one of them, like how it doesn't go all the way down to the fingers. The spider insignia is looks like it may have been spray painted on after he went over everything with black spray paint, and then the bottoms of the shoes aren't covered either because he was in a hurry to just get it painted to distinguish himself from Pete and the others. So, and the Spider-Verse SB suit, yeah, and this is the cheap little Halloween costume he buys after Peter dies in that movie. He puts a cape on it for some reason, I guess to make himself feel more like a superhero. But this suit's fine. It always kind of bugged me how it didn't fit him right. Like they didn't have Spider-Man suits in the size of a teenager, or maybe they are sold out. I guess who knows. Like at that point, I wouldn't have even bothered with the suit. I would have just put the mask on and wore street clothes, kind of like his sportswear suit. So, but that's just me. This is just a fun little reference as an actual suit. Like, yeah, it's the classic design, but made much sillier with it being a shortened child's Halloween costume. Nothing bad to say other than it just looks silly with Miles on it, but that's intentional. So, good job. You pulled the vibe off perfectly. It looks silly, but also it could just be fun if you're wanting to run around looking goofy. The end suit. Again, I have no idea if this is another one I commented about in the previous Miles Morales game. I have no idea if the end is just a storyline or if that's something else the developers may have been referencing. And like that, I think the suit overall is pretty good. I like the insignia on the jacket. I like the small rounded insignia on Miles' chest. He's got his usual suit details underneath it. The pants are fine. They're like urban camo for night times, I think. For what's probably supposed to be like a Warzone style story, it looks fine. The boots, last time I mentioned them, that I said they looked kind of like rain galoshes more than anything, and they still kind of do. Like maybe these are just supposed to be like military boots though that have been painted to have these like little design flourishes on them. So if that's the case, fine. But it just, I don't know, they seem a little weird to me. Like you'd think if he's going through the trouble of wearing more practical pants, he'd also just wear more practical shoes rather than whatever it is he's got on that looks like they could fall off if he kicks too hard or something. But overall, this is a decent little design. Looks cool if you're wanting to run around as a slightly more casual Spider-Man. The 10th anniversary suit. Man, I have no idea how to feel about this suit, because parts of it I like, but parts of it I don't. Like, for the default color, I'm not crazy about this, like, bright pink slash light red, whatever they're going with. The mask seems fine. Again, I kind of missed the webbing design on it, but it's not entirely necessary. The turtleneck going all the way up to his mouth, that's fine for the most part. It would make for an interesting idea. I don't care for the Spire insignia on the front. It's, I don't know, the triangle. triangle design is just so sharp and jagged looking to me. This one, the one on the back, though, is his usual design, sort of elongated a little bit. The stripes going down the sleeves are fine. The gloves are fine. I really don't care for the pants or the shoes, though. Holy hell. Like, I feel like the pants from this one are way better. Like, they also kind of keep in line with what the original design is supposed to be, with the single stripe on the outside and the black on the interior. I think that looks better. So, and then the shoes, like, I have no idea why, like, boots or anything with like the like ring around the top have become popular. I think that shit looks ugly as hell. And then it's got like these weird zipper detail. I assume that's to actually put it on and close it, but then there's also this big stripe going up it. And then this weird bit at the back, I guess that's like the supposed to be the little tiny ringlet that you use to sometimes pull boots on properly, but it's way too big. Like, I don't know, man. The top half of the costume, I think is fine, and this one I actually like a lot. I like the purples going into blues, but yeah, the bottom half just looks bad. I feel like they did the colors in reverse, and it didn't pay off as a attempt to differentiate the design. I don't know. I don't know if I would call this. To me, it's Miles' worst suit. I just don't like it. Uh, like that whole bottom half really just kind of messes up what I think the top half is trying to pull off. So, if you like it, cool. But there's no way I'd want to see someone running around like this. It's way too bright and vibrant and hurts my eyes just looking at it. So, the programmable matter suit. This is another one from the Miles Morales game. Uh, I talked about it a bit in there, and pretty much all my complaints exist from that too. It's too angular. Doesn't look like it'd be something you'd want to wear because it's just uncomfortable looking. Uh, the glowing arms and feet are probably supposed to be like conducting Miles' powers or something in them, but just isn't working for me. The chest and back insignia are somewhat triangular, which I just said, like on the previous suit, looks very jagged and sharp and just not what I would want. Like overall, this just looks like a very ugly suit due to its general angularness, I guess, is the best way for me to describe it. So yeah, just not something I'd want to see, and really just don't like in general. The strike suits. This is something This is also in the Miles Morales game. And again, I kind of like it. I don't like it as much as I used to, like originally. Because I remember when I first played the Miles Morales game, I think this is what I had him rocking for pretty much the entirety of the game. It still looks good. It's very armored. It gives off slight Carnage vibes to me, but that's probably just due more to the yellow and then all the red and stuff. Like the webbing on the helmet is more thick and like overbearing. The eyes are much smaller, giving a very sinister vibe to it. Uh, all the spider insignias on it are very large and look kind of more like beetles, or I guess kind of on the gauntlets they kind of look like grasshoppers to me. But yeah, it's a cool design, but it doesn't scream Spider-Man aside from the webbing on the helmet. It feels very much like if Miles was to become a villain, this might be his outfit design. I don't know. Not bad, but not what you would probably want to wear while you're doing your superhero act. Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. suit. I have no idea if this is an actual thing in the comics where Miles does temporarily become an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or if this is just a cute little idea they had to sort of like reference Black Widow, because I believe her S.H.I.E.L.D. insignia on her costume was, well, did she have one? Now I don't even, now I'm second guessing myself. I don't know if she actually has the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on her suit or not. But yeah, this is fine. The idea of Spider-Man running around with an empty gun holster is kind of silly, but you could use it for literally anything. More web cartridges, various uh, items, what have you. Overall, it's a decent enough design. The only thing that really makes it feel Spider-Man-y, though, is the mask. Like everything else, it's clearly just a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent uniform that has been co-opted by Spider-Man, so not bad, but not really what I'm looking for. The Great Responsibility suit. This is the suit Peter gives Miles after he leaves in the Miles Morales game. And it's fine. It's the classic design, shortened up a little bit, like the arms don't have their thing. There's no actual belt loop going around. The spider insignia on the back is the classic spider insignia for the back, but made smaller and a little stubbier for the legs. I want to say it's the classic spider insignia on the chest too, but I can't recall. The elbow and knee pads make it feel very like a Halloween costume mask, kind of like the one up here, but just different. Like it's very clear as a mentor, Peter is thinking of Miles' safety and just went maybe a little overboard, being like, "Here's some extra knee and elbow pads for you, kid. Don't get hurt." The shoes are fine. They're red. They're red. They look like Adidas out shoes too. So I don't know. Maybe Adidas designed this outfit for the previous game too. Yeah, it's fine. It's classic Spider-Man, just slightly altered. Nothing to really complain about, at least for me. Across the Spider-Verse suit. So this is Miles' suit for Across the Spider-Verse, where it's been altered slash upgraded. His spider insignia for that is bigger and more overt. It looks more like professionally done. He's got big stripes on the inside of his costume instead of the outside, which doesn't look bad. Spider insignia is pretty decent looking, I think, on this one, though it looks like it was just freshly painted on with that little drip, but maybe that was intentional. And again, the bottoms of the boots, you can tell, still haven't been properly designed. They look like they've still got like bits of the spray paint design left over, so not bad. So if you want to run around in a movie costume, this is a decent one. Crimson Cowl suit. This is a decent enough design. I believe this was also in the Miles Morales game. I want to say this is supposed to be sort of a take on the Scarlet Spider 2 suit, which overall the design's not bad. Basically it inverses Miles' red and black color palette, with black being the minor detail and red being the major one, as the name the Crimson Cowl states. He does still have his regular web pattern design mask, and of course the titular Crimson Cowl going over it looks good. Spider insignia barely looks like a spider insignia, and on the back it arguably isn't. It's just a big still plate where all four of the things are interlocking. Tiny belt segment, which looks like it's got extra space for web cartridges. Not a bad design overall. Not what I would want though. I have no idea what I would want if I actually run around in my own superhero outfit. I guess I'm just not that creative, or can't really see myself if wearing tights. I'd rather wear something more practical, like the Punisher, I guess, like tactical armor or something. Anyway, the best there is suit. Gee, I wonder why they made this suit. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Can't wait for the Wolverine game. Alright, seriously though, this looks fine. It's Wolverine's design. The red and black seems fine. I don't. Well, I can't remember if Wolverine's son wore a red and black suit when he was part of the Dark Avengers slash Dark X-Men in the comic books, but uh, he always Wolverine's son tries his damnedest to steer away from his dad's like influence. So, and overall, this is a decent suit. It's just Wolverine's suit, except with a mouth covering in place to, I guess, for Miles slash Spider-Man's sake, to keep the bugs out of their mouths as they're swinging around. Wolverine doesn't really wear it. We got his jacket, two variations of his jacket, like the more got the classic yellow and brown, which is supposed to be based off of like real life Wolverine fur patterns. That's the brown part anyway. The yellow is supposed to be more like a tan or sand color, but they didn't go with that. They went with yellow, and then that carried over to changing the brown to blue to sort of match with all the other X-Men who had like more bright, vibrant colors. The gray and black suit, this is usually what X10 wears, I think. I think her suits, or at least it started out as gray, and then she changed it over to the more classic blue and yellow, I think. But yeah. This is in here more than likely just to get people hyped for uh, the Wolverine game that's supposed to be coming out next Christmas, I think is what the current trajectory is. Maybe it'll release a little earlier or later, but we'll see. And yeah, it's silly to have a Spider-Man run around as Wolverine, but Spidey and Wolverine, or Peter and Wolverine specifically, are on decent terms. So if I guess if Wolverine like left his suit lying around and Peter ran around in it for a little bit, he wouldn't be too mad. He'd just be more like, "What the fuck, dude?" Probably like, "I hope you washed it." But yeah, silly idea. It's clearly here just to help build hype for the Wolverine game, but it looks good. No complaints. It's Wolverine suit with his jacket. Let's see. Dark Ages suit. I believe this is when Miles gets the Venom symbiote on it. I might be wrong. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Uh, Pretty nice. Keeps his red and black aesthetic. Uh, the eyes and then the hood slash collar give off sort of Spawn vibes, but that's maybe just me. This coloration is definitely more Carnage. We got an anti-venom variant here, and I would say this is also supposed to be Carnage, what with the veins on it, and then also the yellow and red just pop more. Seems like more how Carnage would look than just plain reds. I don't know. But now we got the Absolute Carnage suit. So here's the actual Carnage symbiote, or maybe both suits are Carnage, just at different stages. Like maybe this is when Miles is being more taken over by Carnage, whereas the Dark Ages suit is him with Miles being more in control of it. Who knows? But yeah, this is definitely sort of the standard Carnage look with little tendrils extending everywhere. Very sinewy flesh look. Spider insignia on it's very good. It goes further down, like across Miles's chest and torso than it usually does. The insignias on it are big and like they're not bad. The one on the chest is very, like, you can tell it's supposed to be a spider, but it's like one set of the legs don't seem to wrap around the way they probably should, and then for whatever reason it cuts the webbing off strictly to the front, doesn't go around the back aside from his neck area for some reason. Overall, it's a good Carnage design. Very chaotic and sinister looking, as it should. Venom color palette, anti-venom color palette. Not a bad design. Not sure how long Miles toyed around with the symbiotes, because those were always more associated with Peter, and the Carnage symbiote never really utilized the spider insignia, so the fact that it does in this one is a little interesting, I guess. Something different to distinguish Peter's encounters with Carnage versus Miles' encounters with Carnage, I guess. And the King in Black, and this is basically the King of the Symbiote suit with the little tail for the symbiote insignia. He's also got the spiral on his forehead, which is supposed to be like a third eye, I think. The big spikes I'm not crazy about on the shoulder pads, but it does give off a more dangerous and aggressive feeling, so if you were to shoulder check someone, that'd probably kill them. Same with the knee pads, they got some spikes there. I have no idea why he has like just fabric strips like as gauntlets. Sure, it gives off like a old barbarian king type vibe, but that's not really consistent with the rest of the suit. Like, maybe if the shoulder pads had combined into like a chest plate as well to like give off like he's trying to be like a old barbarian style king, maybe I'd be a little more forgiving of that, but I doubt it. And same goes with like the boots. If he was trying to give off this more like ancient king look, you think the spikes would have gone down to his legs to form like a set of greaves or something. But yeah, basically the weird fabric kind of throws off any intimidation factor for me. It just looks unnecessary and a little silly, especially since looks like they're covering up at least parts of their web shooters, which if this is a symbiote, so he doesn't actually need the web shooters. He could just use the symbiote to stretch out and throw him and stuff. Yeah, we got the Venom color, Carnage coloration, anti-venom, and green, which gives sort of Green Goblin-ish vibes, maybe Scorpion a little bit, but eh. Not a bad suit, but not the best either. It's got some pretty dumb flaws on it. Oh lord, I have no idea how to... Borikua? I have no idea how to pronounce that. This is Miles' suit that he gets when you do all of the Brooklyn Visions Academy missions. The students get together and make this for him. It's basically his normal design, except instead of the solid red, they change it to make it look like the Puerto Rican flag. It looks nice. Though, as I pointed out, how do people know that the new younger Spider-Man is part Puerto Rican? The only handful of people who have talked to Miles should know that, but maybe Miles is being a little more loosey-goosey with his identity than Peter is. Who knows? Let's see. Good lord. Smoke and Mirror suit. This suit is based off of Mysterio, you get this after doing all the little Mysteriums and help Quentin Beck clear his name when his assistants try to run him through the mud. It's fine. I'm not too crazy about it. I like this version that's black, red, and silver. It looks good. A little more menacing than it should be, I guess, with the red smoke in there. The green and purple, like I like the purple one. The green's a decently dark color, but it just kind of, I don't know. It's not really what I would want. This one with more green and less purple, it's kind of Green Goblin esque with its color design. This one I don't mind too much, but it the way its helmet looks with all the black and the gold for the armoring, it kind of reminds me of the White Tiger Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2. Uh, Overall, not a terrible design, but I wouldn't really care for it. I'm not a huge Mysterio fan. Like, he's one of the less interesting villains to me in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, so having him reflected in a costume is just kind of weird, but understandable given the circumstances of the game. So, and like I said, once you do all of the hunter bases, you get costumes based off of Craven's design, and much like I said there, it's just kind of silly having Peter and Miles dress up as Craven the Hunter to sort of rub it in his face that they've beaten all of his goons. I don't know. Just a silly idea, but not really like anything you'd actually see. Like, again, maybe if Craven was actually running around as a variation of Spider-Man, I could see him doing something like this, but otherwise it's just a silly, goofy design that you're supposed to do when you're bored or think is funny as a joke. So City Sound suit. Excuse me. This is a suit Miles gets after completing the quest for the museum, the music museum heist, getting all the stuff back and bringing it back to them, based off of classical jazz musician Charlie Park, or it's supposed to be. And I think it looks good. As far as Miles's casual outfits, it's something I could see him kind of pulling off. Maybe pull the pants down a little more from his waist, but that was the style at the time as well, though. So who knows? The mask is very plain with no web designs. That's fine. That's honestly more how something like this would look. The little spider insignia on his heart rather than the center, and then they got a bigger version of it on the back. It all looks good. Very classy. He does have little web designs though on the shoes down at the bottom. Uh, Normal gloves, which would work for crime fighting. I don't know how that would work for playing musical instrument though. Of course, then again, the mask doesn't have a mouth hole for the saxophone if this is supposed to be based off of Charlie Parker. So overall, though, good design. If I wanted to have Miles swing around as a classic jazz player, I'd definitely do this. This honestly goes good with the original Spider-Man Noir design, but they didn't have that in there. They just had the Spider-Verse version of it. So let's see. That's not what I meant to do. We got the encoded suit. I've talked about this before. I'm not a huge fan of it. We got the Spire insignia on the back and a smaller one on the front. It's all very like mechanical armor. Like maybe this is meant to like absorb Miles's powers better or something like that. But it's just so gray and kind of dull looking. The yellow glows way too much and hurts my eyes if I look at it for too long. The red's fine. No idea what the 42 on the bottom is supposed to be, or let's see. I can't even read what that says. I'd have to actually put this suit on and then zoom into it to try and see what that says. So, and then there's all those little metal bits sticking up from the armor. Like, I have no idea if that's like maybe a weird coolant system or where it's supposed to connect to like a bigger contraption or something. Just, this whole suit just kind of feels like I don't like it. I think it's lame, but that's not quite the right word. It feels like it's supposed to maybe be referencing something else that I'm not aware of, but I just don't care for it. I'm never gonna have a character wear it outside in like an actual mission or anything. It's just too. It feels like too far away from Spider-Man. Like it's maybe a spider armor, I guess, but even then, I'm not crazy about those to begin with. And even then, this just doesn't really fit with the rest of them. It's too kind of all over the place with the little like circular nodes and, like I said, these weird bits of metal that are standing up for whatever reason. The things on these little dangly bits on the back, whatever they're supposed to be for. The pouches on the legs. I don't know. Biomechanical suit. And like I said, this is one of the ones I went over during the beginning of the Let's Play, since it's one of the bonus suits you get. Uh, it's very Guyver-esque, which is what it's supposed to be referencing, I believe. But it also feels very like what Carnage might look like if we didn't already have the Carnage outfit for him. Yeah, hard plates. They all look fine. The sinewy parts of it, I'm not crazy about, but that's how Guyver looks. Like it's hard plates mixed with sinewy textures on the suit. So overall, as a reference, it's pretty good. Decent enough as a Spider-Man costume. Like again, if this was like a weird symbiote suit, I could see it being a thing. Overall, I like it. Just probably wouldn't wear it over any of the other suits. Is all. And the Tokusatsu suit's another suit I talked about. Very Kamen Rider-esque, specifically for this one. My only complaint is all the glowy red bits. I don't know. Maybe that's become more commonplace for some of the newer Kamen Rider ones, but the few ones that I watched, like the older ones, didn't have anything like that. It was just sort of plain armor over like leather pants and leather jacket, I guess, underneath the armor. Because the whole point of Kamen Rider was like, originally anyway, was using motorbike, like stunt bikes to fight off enemies and then deliver a big, powerful kick to the final boss of the episode. As a Kamen Rider theme suit, I think this works pretty good. It's a send up to the classic Tokusatsu slash Kamen Rider stuff. The big insignias, very flourishing. They go along with the flow of the shoulder pads, which isn't too bad. The shoulder pads do have like that weird bit where they raise up even further and then go towards the neck. Usually, stuff like that's more a clean, like slope in one angle. Doesn't do multiple angles normally, from what I've seen anyway. The pants are fine. It's clearly some stretchy fabric. Have what looks like flame designs near the bottom. That's probably just to help insinuate the fiery look of all the red on it. So overall, a decent little suit. Not what I'm looking for in my Spider-Man, but I could see it working. An Agimat suit, which again, Uh, I talked about it at the beginning of the LP. It looks very circuitry based slash wiry, though now that I've think about it, it's also kind of Wakanda esque. Uh, I don't know. Basically, all my complaints about it still stand. The blue's not a terrible shade of blue, but the gold's just so bad. I don't like gold. It pops out so much. The weird circuitry look, as well as the like smaller, more intricate designs, they're just not doing it for me. I don't know why. I guess I just don't. I know the gold part is because I just don't like gold. I think gold's gaudy, but everything else, eh. I'm just not. I guess it just seems a little too busy of a suit, and then like it's like unnecessarily decorative. I do tend to prefer more plain designs, but with some minor flourish. But I don't know, this is just trying to do too much. I think with like not enough space to work with. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just really busy. Like it wants you to try and look at everything on it. I guess is what I'm trying to say, which isn't good. You would usually want like your superhero costume to be somewhat plain. That way, one multiple artists, whoever are working on the comics or cartoon or story, can draw it without any major difficulty. Something like this would have way too much going on for that usually, and just kind of looks like gaudy and shitty to me. Like I don't know, this feels like something someone who's really big into gold and jewelry would want to wear as a superhero suit. I guess I don't know, which is silly to me anyway. Anyway, and we got the final suit, the Red Spectre suit, and this kind of feels like maybe it was the. This feels kind of like it might have been like a pre-production phase for uh, Miles' evolved suit, but I don't know. Because we got his hair sticking out, it looks fine. The mask is also very plain on that. He's got a under mask that he pulls up over the like face mask part, which means I can only assume he pulls that down so he can eat, drink, or make out with Haley, whichever. The hood on the suit's fine. It's got the little web design on it. The weird, the spider insignia on this, it wraps around to the back but doesn't connect to form a second spider, which is weird. I have no idea if this is supposed to be like protective armor, but it doesn't look like it would protect much. What with all the spaces in between it. The gauntlets and the arms look decent. I do kind of wish there was like a belt segment separating the uh, lower body from the upper body. It just seems kind of weird that it doesn't. Like I know Peter's suits kind of have that, but don't always. But like it feels more evident with Miles, like it's supposed to be made out of two suit pieces, but if it isn't, then it's very weird. Like it overlaps really weirdly. Uh, the boots seem fine. Maybe a couple of unnecessary straps on them, but that's probably a weird design flourish that I don't care about. Uh, and again, for something that's called the Red Spectre, if this is more black with white and red as a minor color than the main thing. You think for something being called the Red Spectre, it'd look more like the Red Cowl design or something, but maybe they didn't want to make it look too similar to that, because then people would just be like, well, what was the point of that? Like it being just an altered design for that or something. But, oh well. So overall, Miles' suits are still pretty decent. Like I said, with Peter, a lot of Peter's suits are just the movie suits, and a lot of Miles' suits are suits from the previous game. And I get it as a cost-saving measure, but the few that aren't like cost-saving measures, like the Agent of Shield suit, while silly, does look good. All the symbiote suits look good. The Smoke and Mirror suit, while not the best, is at least a unique design that looks cool. The biomechanical suit, even though it was a bonus suit that most people might not get, looks good. So, and the Jazz suit looks really neat. So, yeah. So the TLDW is Miles' suits are pretty good. The Evolve suit, while yeah, not great, it's not his worst. Again, I'm willing to argue that the 10th anniversary suit is probably the worst one. That or this one, yeah, or this one. But anyway, uh, if you enjoyed this, hearing me ramble again, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the usual blah blah YouTube wants us to do. And we'll see you next time for Disco Elysium. Till then, hope you have a good day, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Later.